Give it away, give it away, give it away now. Working at your bitch like John Baystyle. Racing to my dream.
Okay, so today I'm going to be doing a review of Apple's brand new iPad 3. So, as you can see here, I've got the iPad 2 and the iPad 3, and they're both side by side. We're going to start with the specs, so just so you can get a feel for what the iPad 3 is currently running. It's running a higher resolution screen, of course, that they dubbed the Retina display, but basically it's 2048 by 1536, which is insane. I mean, that's incredible for a tablet. It's 264 ppi, which is pixels per inch. And then, of course, it has the A5X processor, which is, I believe it's the same as the iPad 2 that we have here on the left, but just, of course, it has the quad-core graphics in it, which is very, very nice. And, of course, it's clocked at 1 gigahertz, same as the iPad 2. And it's dual-core, the actual processor, and then the quad-core actually comes from the GPU. The RAM has been upgraded from 512 megabytes to 1 gigabyte. It has Bluetooth 4.0, Wi-Fi A, B, G, and N, as you'd expect. It's 4G LTE compatible, but something that I'm really a fan of is they added support for HSPA Plus and DC HSDPA. Now, basically, in Australia, what that means is you're going to get the same speed as if you get the Big Pon 4G stick and you can only get 3G. The 3G is insane. The speeds are incredible now, so I'm really thrilled for that. It also has a 5 megapixel camera, as you may know, on the back, which is capable of 1080p recording. The front camera is, I don't know why they stuck with the crappy VGA camera, but it's the same camera as the iPad 2. It's 0.37 inches thick compared to 0.35 previously, so it is a bit thicker. The battery is 70% larger, which is crazy. It's preserving the battery life, of course, a 10-hour battery life, which is very good because now that it has the 4G LTE capability, the new processor, of course, it's going to use up more battery life, which probably adds to its weight. Now, they claim that it lasts for 9 hours on 4G. I haven't actually tried it, but I would believe with the battery at the size that it is that it would sustain 4 hours. Yeah, 9 hours on 4G. And then, of course, you've got slower charging. So I went through this in detail because if you are going to pick this up, you want to know what the actual differences are, because the aesthetics are the same, except for it being a little bit thicker and it's a bit more curved at the side. Now I'm going to give you guys a look of some of the photos that I took with the iPad 3 and a couple of videos, or a video that I took with the iPad 3. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that, and I'll play that right now. I'm Benny Chase, my bitch got a pretty face. We're shooting for the stars, the music took me to outer space. I'm feeling like an astronaut, skipping class a lot. Not ceramics though, homie, pass the pot. I run a business, sipped it like it's Christmas. Play me on the radio, people be like, who is this? You should know my name, but if you don't, it's Bramswick. Running like I'm Reyes, and I'll never pull. So the actual review itself is quite small. Of course, you got the pros. The Retina display naturally is, of course, a huge pro. The application speeds have improved just a bit. It's around about the same, but I mean, you can of course notice it's a bit faster. But really, you know, it's nothing huge. But you can definitely notice it. It feels sturdier, probably because of the extra weight, which some people may not be a fan of. Most apps are compatible with it, surprisingly. Most of the apps that I downloaded actually do work. I'll open up Kindle here just to show you. All the text and everything is exactly the same. Some of the little buttons on it look a bit pixelated, but in general, pretty much all the apps, literally, that I've downloaded are actually compatible with it. So, of course, another thing that you guys just heard before was it now has HSPA Plus. And then, of course, you got the lack of aesthetic changes. It looks pretty much the same. The hardware is very, very different, though, as we just went through before. Go ahead and show you guys. I'll just lock this iPad 2. And I'll show you guys, let me see if I can find a good app to show you. Go on to Real Racing 2, that's always pretty good. So let's mute that. Just an interesting side note, something that I was thinking of when I was actually making this review is with Apple adopting all these new technologies, I mean, it makes you think, if Steve Jobs is still here, would these technologies be adopted by Apple? And my answer is, I don't think they would. You know, he was really patient with everything that he did. And I don't think he would have adopted 4G, at least this fast. And the reason that I say that is because it actually adds to the weight because of the battery that is needed, and the A5X processor, of course. And the Retina display as well. I don't think he would have adopted that. And I know a lot of people are going to argue with me here, but if it adds to the weight of it, you know, he wanted everything to be perfect. Everything had to be immaculate. And if it added to the weight of his product, I don't think he would have had it. He would have waited until technology was better, and we had batteries that could support at the same weight or less as the iPad 2. So I don't know. I mean, it's probably a good thing that they're adopting new technologies now. I'm not really paying attention to the game, but you can just see or get a feel of the graphics here. But yeah, I mean, me personally, I'm very happy they adopted 4G. Yes, it's a bit heavier. To me, you know, it doesn't really matter. But to some people, it's a pretty big deal. So it's just something that I was thinking of, and also apparently it increased their cost of production as well. I think with all those factors stacked up, I don't think personally he would have adopted it, and right now I'm not paying attention to the game. But yeah, the frame rate on this, with its resolution, is pretty much the same as it was before, which is quite impressive, especially with the resolution being so high. With that being said, do you guys think that you know, they will adopt Blu-ray now that Steve Jobs isn't here to make the final decision on technology? Now, of course, he isn't the developer. He isn't obviously the person who develops the products. He just has the final say. And that final say has now been given to Tim Cook. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they will adopt Blu-ray and adopt new technologies faster. I mean, I'm certainly happy they adopted 4G, but, you know, what do you guys think? So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more.